Among seamen of the world are sailors of the Marshall Islands of the Pacific Ocean. They have always been skillful in navigation. The Marshallese people of long ago spent much time on the water under the open sky. They traveled long distances by canoe without becoming lost. Even at night, they knew where they were, for they kept their outrigger canoes pointed toward well-known stars. They knew the groups of stars and had their own names for them. Sometimes they told legends about them. The knowledge of navigation was secret. It was taught by one generation to another only through certain persons. It was the special knowledge of a few members of the ruling clans. The islands were small and the ocean was wide. No one could make war successfully or get away from enemies without a knowledge of navigation. Only one navigator was needed to guide a large number of canoes in battle, in open sea fishing, or in long-distance travel. Without a good navigator, the people would have been helpless on the ocean. To aid in navigation among the islands, Marshallese constructed special sea charts, or stick charts. They were not taken on voyages, for all knowledge was memorized. The charts depict natural phenomena and interpret the wave and current patterns that strike the islands. One example of these is the Wapebe. This is a small type of chart that shows the wave patterns that are common around all atolls. The Marshallese have always been able to sail by watching and feeling the movements of the ocean currents and waves, and by using the stars as guides to plot positions. A few older men still know how to use the Wapebe, but it's dying out. Several people, though, know how to make them without understanding their meaning. From studying the Wapebe, the basic currents and wave patterns can be learned. Before sailing, the sailors know in what direction lies the new island. If they are sailing from south to north, then they watch for the main currents from the east and west. Within the first few miles of leaving, the currents are watched carefully to see which one is moving faster. For example, if the current from the east is moving faster than the western current, then the boat is sailed in a more northeasterly direction to compensate for the pull of the easterly current. When leaving an island, the same wave and current patterns are encountered as when approaching the island, but only the wave and current patterns of the approaching island are closely watched. For example, using the illustration, if a boat sailed from an island in the south, the boat would first encounter the Jukai, the first zone of currents, nearest an island, then Ribukai, the second zone of currents, and last, Jedjeladai, the third zone of currents, farthest away from an island. All three of these waves together are called No and Alaganbar, waves that come after the reef. After the boat proceeds north, it will encounter the place where the Ayado, current from the east, and the Ayadak, current from the west, meet. At this point, the boat will roll back and forth from front to back with a harder roll to the back of the boat than the front. This type of ocean at this point is called Limagnono, which means choppy seas. Then the boat continues northward, and the captain constantly makes sure that they do not cross over the Ayato, current from the east, or the Ayatok, the current from the west, which would mean they were off course. Next, the boat hits the Ayalokian, current from the north, and then is again in calmer water where the boat mainly rocks from side to side. Then the Ayalokarak, current from the south, is encountered. At this point, very close attention is given to the waves, for the people in the boat know they are now beginning to approach the new island, although it is still very far away. The boat proceeds north and hits the place where again the Ayatok and the Ayato meet. At this point, the boat rolls back and forth, with the front roll of the boat being the strongest, for again the ocean is limaginono, choppy. This signals that the island is getting close. When the Jeljeladai, the third zone of currents, is encountered, the people know they are on course and the island is nearby. Usually the island is visible by the time the Ribukai, the second zone of currents, is hit. Then the Jukai, the first zone of currents, appears and the island is very near. There is also a type of wave called Terelep, which the boat follows when leaving the island until arriving at the new island. All these currents can be seen and felt by experienced sailors. Many Marshallese sailors could lie in the bottom of a canoe and sail by the feel of the waves and currents. Today, many of the older men and a few women can sail in this manner, but since few tipangals, sailing canoes, and wallops, large sailing canoes, exist anymore, sailing between atolls is becoming rare.